It has been a roller coaster year for Gala Games. From the partners suing each other, to the token price not being able to hold up, to some of the games having some issues, and now we have the death of their flagship game, Townstar. We're going to talk all about it today on my latest intel report. It's mission time. Welcome back, agents. Secret Agent Stache here. We are at GIA headquarters, and we just got some of the latest intel that the Townstar game, one of the flagship games for Gala Games, is now dead. That's right, done. Put a nail in the coffin. Townstar is no more. It's like the team listened to me in this interview with Bitbinner just a couple of months ago.
Get rid of Townstar.
Oh! Okay. So Townstar is not completely gone, but we're doing away with the Townstar name, and we're going to, it's kind of rebranding in a way that to me makes sense, but there's also a lot of issues here. We're gonna pack everything about the death of Townstar and the rise of Common Ground World. Let's go take a look at exactly what this means and why I think there's some good here, there's some bad here, and there's some really ugly here too. So Gala Games has been struggling with what to do with Townstar since the loss of rewards for this flagship game, and this entire year they have not really found their footing with where to take Townstar as a game. Now, I've talked about this, saying that Townstar, in my opinion, has been one of the biggest mistakes, and maybe out there may disagree. People may disagree. I'm not a big fan of the, kind of casual farming style games, but even outside of that, I do think that, this has been a bit of a plague in their side. Now, they're trying to find how they can kind of bring this game back because there are a lot of people that are invested in this game. They've spent thousands of dollars on NFTs. They've been trying to get their nodes to produce something or do something, like poking it, do something. And, we just haven't seen a lot of progress here until now. So Townstar is now rebranding to Common Ground World. We've seen a lot of rebrands going on Twitter here lately, and this is the latest in a slew of them. Now, in a greater sense, one, I don't like the name Common Ground World. It doesn't roll off the tongue. As much as I didn't like Townstar as a game, the name itself made sense. Common Ground World itself as a name, as a standalone name, is not the nicest sounding name, but the reason why they renamed it to Common Ground World is because they're essentially connecting Gala Games and Gala Film into one cool new thing. And they're kind of taking a page from Gala's new film that has launched here recently called Common Ground. It's an award-winning film that actually the highly anticipated sequel to the impactful documentary Kiss the Ground. And so what they've done here is they've essentially rebranded the game to Common Ground World to kind of support this Gala film, which I actually think is a really interesting angle. Having a film division and having a games division and them kind of collaborating with every film, there should be some kind of cool gamified element to it as well. It's just a shame that this was kind of an afterthought and not the plan from the beginning, because I think in general it's a great plan, but I think the execution has been a little bit poor and a little bit like last minute feeling to me. But I do like that general direction. So don't love the name, but love how it is connected to this movie. And if you know that, it makes a lot more sense. I think a lot of people outside of the core Gala community probably won't know this. So the cool thing about this is that they've been out there, they've been touring this movie around. It has been doing, fairly well for a documentary. And they've just kind of, and then once they conclude this tour, the film is going to be available to just, only Gala Film, which is going to be kind of interesting, right? So I'm not going to go too much into the film itself. You guys can go take a look at that on their website, on the Gala Film website, or you can jump into Discord. But it does have some pretty big names in it, that have helped to bring this, it's the Tribeca Film Festival award winner. Rosario Dawson, who is from Ahsoka, if you guys have been watching that. Amazing, I love Rosario Dawson. Donald Glover, Woody Harrelson. So, these are some big names. Jason Momoa. All these are big names, and these are all a credit to, hey, this is Gala Film that is putting this out. So, you know, as we talked about, this movie is already out. It's already doing the rounds. Now, what they've done here with Townstar is they've rebranded it. They're like, all right, we're going in, we're popping collars, we're common ground now, and they have changed a bunch of things. So they have given a brand new gameplay mode called Common Ground mode. And essentially, it's just a slower paced version of the game where you start on a much smaller area and you have to like clean soil around your little farm to then be able to use it. And this is kind of supporting what is going on in the video, like the message right behind this movie, Common Ground. So like I said, I like where it's going. I just feel like it feels like a tack on, like it was added on. Like, all right, we're just gonna do, you know, here you go. It's an add-on. Like it just doesn't feel as natural, and it feels a little rushed to me as well. And we'll talk about that here in a second. Why I think it's rushed, and some of the things I've already seen that you know, don't necessarily make me fairly happy, but I definitely know they don't make the Townstar community happy either. So, you know, one of the cool things I do like, and, you know, a lot of people are playing some of these things, these games to be able to earn rewards, right? There are nodes out there for Townstar that have been sold and have not earned any rewards for well over a year at this point. And we still don't have a plan. But they were able to get Common Ground out, make a brand new mode, and then also get 2 brand new NFTs to sell. Now, you know, the thing I do understand here is that, you know, they're trying to make this more of a social cause-driven game at this point, right? And I like that. Right here, they say this film in partnership gives us an opportunity to empower players in more ways than rewards, item ownership, and the other benefits that come with Web3 and using Gala Chain. We can empower them with things like knowledge, passion, ecological awareness, and you know, environmental you know, due diligence, right, when it comes to things. And I think that's great. And I really do think that's great. But once again, it just feels like it was kind of thrown on there. Now, of course, with any kind of update, with any rebrand, you gotta have something to sell. Now, at least they're not going big with these. They have 2 NFTs that are coming here, the Composting Facility and the Common Ground Academy. You can get both of them for just 10 bucks. That's pretty affordable, I would say, for this style of game. And they will actually even donate a portion of that purchase back to the Common Ground film team. So I love that. And once again, I think if all these things were in place when they launched, man, it really would have been a huge push for this movie and for this particular, you know, for this particular game. So you can see here's the Composting Facility and here's the Academy. And now the cool thing they say is, hey, you know, we're starting to incorporate Gala Chain. These are going to be the first upgradable NFTs. But the problem is, and this is how I know things are rushed. Once again, note, disclaimer, none of these things are functional yet, and you won't be able to upgrade them because they're still actively, from what I can tell, still trying to really actively incorporate Gala Chain fully into this game. On top of that, there have been tons of complaints in the Discord about there being cheating. There being a lot of bugs in the game where people are using to get an unfair advantage. We know how that goes with bugs, but you know, once again, with this many bugs, with a rebrand and a brand new game mode launch, you'd think some of these things would be a little bit more tested and polished if they were going to be running a competition, which they're trying to do for this to be able to earn rewards, to try and promote all these sales and everything going on. Well, they actually had to push the competition because the bugs were so much that people were complaining, and they're like, hey guys, no, we're gonna have to push it a day. So hopefully they can get all of that, you know, actually taken care of, and it's not going to be a big deal in the long run, right? But right now, definitely people are not happy. When you look at this and people say, hey, okay, great, yeah, we got this rebrand, we have a new mode. What about our nodes? What about some of these other things that you've promised us? We still don't have any details on. And Gala at this time has not, you know, they have not released any information on that. So, you know, whereas I think this is an interesting focus for Gala Games, and you know, could be a pretty nice little, you know, connecting tissue for things in the future where film, music, and gaming are collaborating in these kind of synergistic type of ways. I really do think that could be the future of Gala with what they're doing. Right now, this was not executed very well. But of course, they have a ton of information here on this about buying ticket bundles and buying NFTs. You know, I think that maybe they're putting the cart in front of the horse a little bit too much here. So that's the big update here. Townstar is dead. Common Ground World is rising up out of the ashes of Townstar, but will it be able to, you know, really sate all of the owners and the investors of nodes and everything else that have some sort of say in Townstar? At this point, it doesn't look very good for all those people. I'm not really sure how they're going to deliver on this or what they're going to be doing, in particular with this new mode and the fact that you don't actually earn rewards from it. It's going to be interesting if anybody's actually going to play it or how they're going to incentivize people to want to play the slower mode versus your basic, you know, other two modes that Townstar has. So, in my opinion, I think that, you know, this could have been executed better. I think the idea is there, but I think the execution has been poor. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Do you like the name Common Ground? Do you think that it felt like a little bit pushed or a little bit, you know, of a rushed rollout? But could this concept work in the future with other games and other films or other musicians and having that kind of synergy where they work together and are pushing things out there in multiple different entertainment verticals? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments below. That's all we have for today, agents. As always, this briefing never happened. Secret Agent Stache, over and out.
Secret Agent Stache. Secret Agent Stache.